Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Live on a beautiful Tuesday out here in Los Angeles, California, December 11th, 2018. We're watching all of it happen right in front of us, ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy, so much to talk about. Trump wall, balls to the wall. Pelosi and Schumer smackdown in the Oval Office. What up, Arch? Boy? Yeah, dude. We got Google having to explain themselves in front of Congress. We got the T-Rex of political talk, Alex Jones, standing in there like a fucking silverback, staring them down, ranting in the hallway. You know, this is this is the patriotic take back of America. It's well underway, ladies and gentlemen. As much as the hunchback, as much as hunchback Chuck Schumer, the the literal penguin villain from Batman himself, Chuck Schumer, sitting in the Oval Office because he can't get the better of Trump. So, um, yeah, Archer, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and Trump were having a discussion about the border wall and funding the wall in the Oval Office, and Trump invited the media in, and chaos ensued when he was just not budging on his negotiations, and then uh, they Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi kept saying, well, we should do this in private. We shouldn't expose our actual beliefs on immigration in public. So let's have a debate in private. And it was wonderful to see. You can't stump the Trump, especially you know live on camera in front of the press. It's just not going to happen. And it was beautiful to watch. And then we had Google going and the CEO of Google going to you know talk in front of Congress about the supposed favoritism there, and banning conservatives and whatnot. And you had there was a guy who dressed up like the literal Monopoly man and was sitting behind the Google CEO, and he had a big bag of fake money and a big mustache and a top hat and a monocle, and he was just sitting, and the camera would cut away and then cut back, and the mustache would get bigger and bigger. Justin Potts in the house. What's good, baby? What's good? I hopefully we get some new people in on the stream today. I posted on I commented on one of Owen Benjamin's Instagram posts, and he replied to me. I was just telling him that he's an inspirational motherfucker, and because he's going around this Hollywood complex of having to be repped and to get booked at clubs around the country. Oh, Justin Potts having a little argument there. That's what I like to see. That's what gets me out of bed every morning. All right, confrontation. All right, and then Owen. So Owen is on this tour right now, and what he does is he just basically rents out the venues himself, promotes, and he live streams and promotes his shows, and he has to promote them generally. He can't even promote the actual venue in public, or people will call and try to get him shut down. These SJW fucking fascists try to call and get his show shut down. So he advertises just in the general area where he's going to do comedy, and then as people buy tickets, he sends them emails of where the venue is and stuff. So he's doing it totally outside the loop, and I just commented telling him, I'm trying to do kind of the same thing because I don't have any filter on stage, and I talk about what's actually true. I know it's I know it's startling to some people to not self-censor and lie to people, but when you got when you got the huevos to get up there and talk about what's actually true, then people don't want to hear it. They want to get you shut down. So you got to go outside the usual channels. They're not going to want to rep you. You're not going to have people want to be your manager or agent. So you got to do it all yourself. And he's doing that. And so I commented on his post just saying he's a bad motherfucker and keep doing what he's doing. And then I got like 40 new followers on Instagram. 40 or 50 new followers, and everybody started watching the little clips I posted from the podcast on Instagram. So hopefully we get some fresh eyes in this motherfucker. But yeah, man, it's a wild ass day out there. It was just I went to Drudge Report and I saw that link on the top and I was like, man, this is going to be good. So we're going to get into that a little more. We're going to break it down beat by beat as soon as we settle in here on the stream. Feeling good today. Hyped up on a Tuesday. I got 3 goddamn espressos in me. And also some leftover Bang energy drink that my roommate so courteously saved for me that I now have in my cup here. So we're blasting off. Blasting up. I'm all hopped up on Mountain Dew. Now you think I'm gonna let the globalists take me down when I'm all hopped up on this goddamn espresso and Bang energy drink? Oh, well, you got another thing coming. Globalists ain't got no chance, baby. When the wall is going up and Mexico is going to pay for it. Oh, dude. The wall's going up. I can't wait. I can't wait because I know like just how Trump does everything with a flair of opulence to it. So it's going to be like, it's not going to be some sad border fence. It's going to get done eventually and it's going to be gold plated and it might not only have his name on it. It might have, a carved, likeness of Trump. They're going to emboss a nice picture of the Trump right there, steely-eyed Trump, like his Twitter picture, looking out on the people trying to cross the border illegally. No more. Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo. Oh, dude. So we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that that little Oval Office confrontation they had there. We're gonna break it down a little bit. We're gonna talk about just walls in general. We're gonna talk about the Google monopoly men. We're gonna talk about Alex Jones and Roger Stone out there running wild. Roger Stone. His hairline scares me. You look at pictures of Roger Stone, he has one of those Franken hairlines. But every time I see Alex Jones just getting fired up, it just makes me laugh so much. That's why I've been listening to Alex Jones for a long time. And I've always kind of taken him more as entertainment than like a consistent, reliable news source. But he does point you in directions where you can do your own research and learn some really crazy shit about what actually goes on in government and confirmed false flags and conspiracies like the Gulf of Tonkin that got us into these huge wars and it's you can go down rabbit holes with Alex Jones and find out some really heinous activity going on in our society, ladies and gentlemen. Let me share the stream out here on Facebook just to pump it up. Oh, dude. Yeah, Alex, the one thing that used to hold me back from Alex was he would get a little fire and brimstone religious, which was annoying, but he's just playing to his base regular conservatives that are just, they get fired up by that kind of thing. Oh, Dragon Energy Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we shared it out on the Facebook. But yeah, one of the things that Alex was way ahead of, way like out in front of the rest of the media, was when he pointed out that the quote unquote rebels that were being funded in Syria and Libya were actually Al Qaeda and ISIS. And so our government funded, armed, and trained literal ISIS members in order to topple the regime in Libya. And like they were way out ahead of that. And then it just came to fruition. They toppled Gaddafi. What up, Dartweed? They toppled the Gaddafi regime, and then there was a power vacuum, and basically ISIS took over the country. And now you have radical jihadists taking over the country of Libya, and then the Libya was kind of is in that medium zone in the Mediterranean between North Africa and Europe, and then all those North African refugees that are just coming from their big oppressive corrupt ass governments that they voted for. How's the Sharia law working for you? And they decide to just run up and migrate up into Europe, and the collapsing of Libya allowed that to happen. And now you see all this, uprising in Europe because the cultures aren't compatible, ladies and gentlemen. Big surprise. So Alex was way ahead of that, and he was way ahead of he was the guy who kind of turned me off of Obama, because I voted for Obama in 2008, and it was easy to get sucked into it, because number one, I didn't want to vote for John fucking McCain, Mr. Making excuses for the war in Iraq and just slime bag. But on 28 years of age, yeah, that was the first year I could vote, when I voted Obama in 2008. And he's always been, Alex Jones has always been talking about the big banks and the Federal Reserve being key players in the corruption of government, and that led me down to a research rabbit hole of figuring out what fractional reserve banking is and why the collapse happened in 2009. And it's really just insane when you look into how banks actually operate, and they have these big reserves that are supplied by the Federal Reserve, who just types money into a computer and creates it out of thin air. It's not tied to any actual value or any like real money. It's not tied to anything actually valuable. It's just oh, thank you so much, Archer. Merry Christmas to you too, sir. Yeah, Obama's just a bad idea slickster salesman for communism. That's all he was. But yeah, he's he allowed himself to get pimped out by the big banks who financed his campaign, and then he turns around and bails them out. And so Alex was way ahead of everybody else in covering that stuff. And you can just rely on him to have a consistent perspective of small government libertarianism. Like he gets into the wildness of like the vampire pedophile elite and like whatever they do, like child sacrifices and all this psycho shit that he can't really prove. But regardless, it's like an archetype of evil, and they are purveying evil on people. Like the government is like the biggest manifestation of immorality in society, and so the archetype works, and he correctly identifies the perpetrators of it in the Federal Reserve and the big banks. So yeah, and then he's just endlessly fucking entertaining with his like rants and screaming, and it's just tremendous. But I was a big fan of pro wrestling growing up, so that's probably what it reminds me of. He's like cutting a political promo every day for 3 hours on his show. And yeah, I was listening to him pretty hard, but before they cut his stream off, they cut his podcast off the air because he's just too evil to take. It's just too evil to expose the actual agenda of the destructive foreign policy in the Middle East and the corrupt big banks sucking the blood out of your veins. Okay, we can't focus on that. That's off limits. Okay, Tim Cook is going to curate that feed for you and make sure it's nice and loving and that you don't question any of the fundamental natures of society. And yeah, so that's what we're getting into today, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting into the deception afoot and the hilarious meeting between Donald Trump, Nancy Pelosi, and Schumer in the Oval Office. First of all, Nancy Pelosi looks like the goddamn Crypt Keeper. That's, hey, would you like to hear a story about how evil Donald Trump is? And she's like, just ready. Her bones look like they're made of, dust that you sweep off your shelf. She looks like she's about to be disintegrated by a strong gust of wind. And Chuck Schumer looks like the goddamn penguin from the Batman movie. And he's just sitting there, just all hunched over, like this fucking curved spine, his crescent moon spine, and his fucking long, like witch-like nose. Just, he kind of looked a little bit like a transgender witch, So disrespectful to the Crypt Keeper to compare to Nancy Pelosi. I agree. It is. I should have more respect for the Crypt Keeper. The Crypt Keeper is totally transparent. Nancy Pelosi, she, a little more deceptive there. She has a public position and a private position. Okay, both of them she stutters through, but they're different. But yeah, this Trump meeting in the Oval Office, they're just sitting around, and just the body language, like Trump just sitting there, just staring both of them down, and Nancy Pelosi is like trying to plead to the media, and she's the Crypt Keepers. Don't listen to Trump. We're gonna talk this over in private, and I don't want you to hear what I actually believe. No debates in public, Trump. And Chuck Schumer is just stirring a cauldron over there, like the transgender witch that he is. Just, I'm getting a sex change pretty soon, and I'm going to be turned into the Penguin from the Batman comics, and it's going to be great, and we're going to stop Trump. And then, they're having this debate about the border and the wall, and Trump's like, we're getting that wall funded. It's going to be funded. We need it. It's border security. And they didn't want to give their position of like, well, we want open borders because we want immigrants to vote for us because we give them welfare. They couldn't they couldn't actually say what they think. So they just sat there and were like, well, we can't do this in public, can we? And it just goes to show you can't stump the Trump, especially live on camera, baby. He's gonna, he's unstumpable. Unstumpable. But, yeah, it's absurd, man. This idea of like, oh, we can't have a wall in America, that's racist. But it's okay for Israel. It's okay for China. We take flights for dozens of hours to go all the way across the world and visit China just to see their Great Wall, called the Great Wall. But any border security that Americans want to have is dog whistling to white supremacy, of course. It's a big wall-formed dog whistle to skinheads, and you're getting skinheads off on the idea of, your bigoted wall, and it's just unbelievable. I can't believe that you would imagine that a wall would aid in any safety in keeping illegal immigrants out of the country. It's just, and it's so insulting to, oh, dude, Proxnoid, my man, thank you so much, buddy. Merry Christmas to you. Yeah, I don't know. I had to break like a $100 threshold to get to get what is it, an AdSense account or something. I don't know. Igor set this channel up, so he had all the logins for it and everything. We were trying to figure out how to transfer it over, but yeah, I think I've heard Owen Benjamin say like YouTube takes maybe 30% of the super chats. I don't know. I don't know how it works, but I appreciate it either way. You guys are tremendous. So yeah, the whole idea of the border wall, it's so insulting to actual legal immigrants that go through the process and want to respect the country's laws and become a citizen in the correct way. When you're just like, well, we gotta let everybody in, and then it's like, it's not only like an insult to the people who live here, but it's the people who have come here legally through the immigration system are now like, what? Well, why did I do any of that? I should have just, came over in the migrant horde. And you got to have some vetting for people coming into your country, especially when you have a big welfare state. I mean, I'm a libertarian, so I don't think that national boundaries are something that should ultimately exist. But when you have national boundaries and when you have a government that doles out money through the welfare state, then you get people coming in for the wrong reasons and they don't assimilate, because then they don't have to participate in the economy that they're coming into. They don't have to learn the language. They don't have to learn the customs. They don't have to, have anything to do with the quote unquote American way of life. They just come here and set up their own cultural enclaves, take welfare money, and vote for the left. And it's, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi don't want to talk about that on camera because that's politically unsavory. Maxine Waters says, hey Jordan, here's a new good comedian. There's a short clip of talking about Trump. It's funny as shit. Alright, I'll check that later. Oh yeah. If you broke, don't worry about it, buddy. I'm broke too. It's that broke life sometimes, man. Sometimes you gotta be living that broke life. I'm not going on welfare. Justin Potts says the welfare state is more detrimental to our country than almost anything else. Yeah, it's it totally perverts the incentives, and it's totally antithetical to everything the country is supposed to be about. Is about like making yourself into something great and helping and making yourself into something valuable so that you can help the country and provide some value to people, and be satisfied in what you're doing yourself. But instead, it's just like, well, I'm never going to make it, so might as well take these shekels they're handing out. And that kind of gets you in the mind state of perpetual poverty. A lot of what it is that people are pretty confident that they're not going to be able to make it in any kind of free market situation. And so they vote for big government to have a safety net, so they don't fall through the cracks there. Now, for those tuning in who haven't seen the stream before, this is the time in the show where this is the federal outrage commune. It is the outrage cast, but we're building towards something larger here called the federal outrage commune, and it's kind of similar to the Federal Reserve in that I decide everything for society and for the outrage commune. So we like to centralize power here in the hands of one person who we all trust, and that would be me, the federal outrage chancellor. And if you could all donate all of your entire paychecks to me, and then I will decide how much to dole back to you, that would be tremendous. What I also provide is on this stream, I provide the stream, and then I provide this flow that I'm going to display for you here. The federal outrage chancellor is going to bless you all with the sound of his flow, because he's hopped up on caffeine, and it's going to be, you can rate it out of 10 and enjoy. So here comes the federal outrage chancellor's flow. Let me know what you think of it. Be right back. So disrespectful. So disrespectful to put the flow on the podcast like that, but we're live, ladies and gentlemen. We're teleprompter free, and that's what happens. But talk about disrespect. It is so disrespectful for Trump to just have a meeting in the Oval Office and invite the media in when Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are trying to, conceal their real thoughts. Okay, you got Nancy Pelosi right there. She's the crypt keeper, and she's on the verge of being blown away by wind into literal dust on the floor. And then you got Chuck Schumer, who's sitting there like the penguin from Batman, hunched over with a crescent spine, and he kind of looks like a transgender wicked witch of the West. And he kind of just Trump. The Washington Post gave you Pinocchios for, and then Donald Trump just sitting there like, Mufasa, just fucking, you can't stump him, man. He's sitting there and, he lovingly invites the media in, and it's just unbelievable that he would want transparency in government. That's just blasphemous and horribly racist. That, he would want eyes on public debate. That's not what, Congress people are supposed to do, is debating in public and showing their true identities. What needs to happen is what Hillary Clinton said, you need your public position and your private position. And it's important to infantilize the public and lie to them about what you really believe. And then once you hoodwink the public, then you're getting ahead. That's what Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer understand, is that you've oh no, Archer missed the flow. Oh, the most valuable part of the Outrage cast every day is the sound of the flow, the chancellor's flow, and lots of vitamins being dispersed. And they just they couldn't handle the public seeing an actual debate between politicians, and we got to keep that stuff under wraps, okay? I mean, I can't just come out in public and say how pro open borders I am, because that would just sound naughty. That would just not be the best soundbite for my career. So let's keep this under wraps. And it was a delicious little smackdown right there. And then we've got the Google CEO, whatever his name is. They've got some propped up, um, you know, mannequin there as the Google CEO, and he was facing questions about they're banning people that seem to be more conservative leaning, or as Hillary Clinton would call them, the alt right. The alt right, of course, libertarians are forever lumped in with Nazis because, when libertarians say they want a small government, what they really mean by that is they want a totalitarian dictatorship with concentration camps. That's what they really mean when they say small government. Okay, that's code word. It's very confusing. You have to watch MSNBC to have this decoded for you. When libertarians say they want a small government, what that really means, small government, totalitarian dictatorship, concentration camps for minorities. That's what they're really saying. And then when they say, we need to get rid of the Federal Reserve, coded language, when libertarians say they want to get rid of the Federal Reserve, what they really mean is that they support white supremacy. And it's a coded dog whistle, all right? And you need Rachel Maddow and Don Lemon to decode it for you. So you trust them to decode the libertarian propaganda, and trust the government, and trust MSNBC and CNN. And that will get you ahead in life. And as long as you take your antidepressants and you eat your soy, then you will be fine. You won't have any of this, troublesome testosterone, or you won't have too much energy. You'll just be able to passively kind of ease through life, in a nice, opiated, just lovely, soft dream of. That's what your life needs to be. It's just, lovely, soft, and just fuzzy and warm, and there's no Trump. Don't focus on Trump. You just listen to NPR and just get in the brainwave state that we need you to be in. Take your antidepressants, okay? And listen to Rachel Maddow, and listen to Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, and you'll just fade on off right into history. You just, without a splash, you just fade off and never be heard from again. And that's being a good American. Being a good American is taking your antidepressants, hating Donald Trump, but don't focus too much on hating Donald Trump. You just want to pretend like Trump doesn't exist. You just live in this nice, safe space that MSNBC and CNN provide for you, and then you'll sail off into the sunset of life, and you'll never have any troubles. You'll be feeling nice and cozy, and it'll be like a nice little opioid dream for you. Yeah, they asked me to host the Oscars because I live right next to where they do the Oscars. They're begging and pleading, and it's just, I got better things to do. I got an Outrage cast to do, I don't have time to go up and, trash these celebrities. They're already trashed. They trash themselves. They really need me to do it? Yeah, I don't know who they're going to have hosting the Oscars now. Nobody wants to do that fucking job. It's so, like, you got to have a whole team of writers try to curate your jokes. Like, you got to have Tim Cook in there curating your jokes. Don't want to offend any women or black people or brown people. And we've got to keep it all nice and curated for the Oscars. And, we don't want it to be too funny necessarily. We're not going for funny, we're going for safe, okay? We don't want to alarm the people that are watching at home on their antidepressants and send them into a psychotic break. We just want to have nice anti-Trump jokes that just land softly, not many laughs, but that's okay because we're getting our agenda across. And yeah, I think they should just have one of the sex robots host the Oscars now, and I think that would be appropriate. And just have Roman Polanski with his hand up the ass of the sex robot there and puppeting it, and yeah, I think that would be a nice representation of real life, and we get a little sodomy and Roman Polanski in there, and it'd be good. I think it'd be good. Ooh, we're having fun on a Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. It's so funny watching this political theater go back and forth, dude. Like, it's so like the people that are just make themselves be enraged by Trump and make up these reasons to hate him. I feel so sorry for these people because they're just missing the greatest comedy show the world's ever seen. Like, just he's so fucking great, man. Oh, but yeah, I don't know if Alex Jones got to speak at the Google thing in Congress. That would have been good. I know he was ranting out about Google in the hallway to a little press gaggle there, about how Google is the world government. It is kind of weird how powerful these big monopolistic tech companies have become. They just have all of our data, and we just willingly give it up to them because social media is so addicting. Google Project Dragonfly. Interesting that I'm Googling some dirt on Google. Google Project Dragonfly. But I still use Google because all the other search engines are just, I don't know, I'm used to the Google interface. Google censored China search engine, Project Dragonfly. Oh, yeah, they comply with the Chinese government to work with their censorship and shit. I see what's going on. Google is experiencing a, quote, moral and ethical crisis. That's the view of hundreds of employees at the tech company who are protesting the development of a censored search engine for internet users in China. About 1,400 Google employees signed a letter to company executives this week seeking more details and transparency about the project and demanding employee input in decisions about what kind of work Google takes on. They also expressed concern that the company is violating its own ethical principles. Does Google have any ethical principles? I don't know. If anyone gets caught Googling stuff they're not supposed to, they allegedly get sent to re-education camps. Well, that's just necessary, okay? Because if you're not properly educated in the propaganda centers of the public schools, I mean, who's going to educate you on the wonders of diversity? You need to be re-educated. I mean, let's bring back MK Ultra. You know, let's bring the CIA in and help them, have Google help them, and let's sit you down and dope you up and maybe give you some nice loving electroshock therapy until you really understand that diversity is our strength, and that you know, Chinese communism is fine because they're Chinese, and you wouldn't want to criticize any other culture because, you know, you're racist. You're racist if you don't want Chinese influence over the government and the internet. Um, it's super important. Okay, you need to be re-educated, and you know, like I was saying with that opiate dream, you know, that you get sucked into, that you start watching and you get into a trance watching MSNBC and CNN. That's the mind state that Google wants you in, and it's very important that you don't go to the gym, you don't do any squats, definitely, and you know, you watch your internet porn, uh, get a sex robot, and check out from the real world, because that's what's important. It's not about, you know, it's not about personal freedom, or it's about being kept safe while you fuck your fleshlight. That's important, and Google knows that. Oh, what you know about that, Google? What you know about that dragon energy, baby? Oh! Sensors can't see me. They can't see me. I should probably come up with some kind of a. Oh, yes, I am. You caught me. My dragon energy comments are a subtle dog whistle to the grand dragon wizards out there. Okay, you caught me red-handed. Maxine Waters is always on target with the pointing out the racist dog whistles, and it's super important that somebody deconstructs my propaganda, and I appreciate it because I'm transparent. We're transparent here at the Outrage Cast. I have no public position that's not. I have no private position that's not a public position, because that's, you know, I like to keep it straight up. Oh, you can see me. You can see me drinking milk in the sketch we did, How to Spot a White Supremacist. I guzzled that milk right down, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I don't even drink milk anymore. I'm not a good white supremacist. I need to drink a lot more milk. I do eat a lot of ice cream though. I fucks with some those $2 pints of ice cream at Ralph's. Oh shit! I go to the gym late nights, get my damn chin up on, my dip on, and then I come home and eat my ice creams, but not much milk. Do I download these streams and keep copies of them on my laptop? No, I do not. I might ought to start doing that. Oh God, don't bring up Nancy Pelosi's panties, dude. I know they're transparent, but her bones are transparent at this point, I think. They did an X-ray and nothing showed up. She's just a pile of a witch's brew goo. Okay, that's what Nancy Pelosi is made out of, and Chuck Schumer is right about ready to boil her down into a bone broth stew and serve it up to Congress so that they can consume her progressivism. She is stunning and brave, sir. Well, I appreciate your commentary, Jim Acosta. You're one of the necessary gadflies out there that keep me honest. Okay, what's up, Barry White? Yeah, I think not monetizing the stream is going to help keep it going. So that's why I you know, much love and appreciation to anybody who donates, because that's fucking tremendous. That's why I keep no ads on the stream, so I don't want any of that bullshit. I don't want them, you know, having an excuse to cut the stream. So, you know, we keeping it independent on the Federal Outrage Cast because, you know, we are the Federal Outrage Commune, and we are just as federal as the Federal Reserve. Okay, you know, we're federal, but we're private. Federal but private, and we're accountable, but we're not. You know, we're transparent, but don't audit us, right? You know what the deal is. Jim Acosta says that I am not the free press, sir. Only news you can get from us, sir. That's very true. We are not the official source. We're federally privatized, and I'm just, you know, I'm a propaganda distributor out here. I'm doing my best to pass off the fake news, and you know, if I get shut down, I probably deserve it, because you know, CNN is the official source, and they will, you know, just like the WikiLeaks. Don't read the WikiLeaks yourself. CNN will decode the WikiLeaks and tell you why Trump is evil. Why it tells you that Trump is evil, and that why Vladimir Putin is secretly Dracula. Because that's one of the biggest revelations that we found from the Russia investigation, is that if Russian sound like this, but if you slow down, it's kind of like a rock and roll record. Like when you play Led Zeppelin backward, it sounds like devil talking, because Led Zeppelin is devil. There's no separation. So when a Russian talk like this, you slow it down a little bit, and it sounds like Dracula. Okay? Vladimir, you think it's accident that Vladimir Putin named Vladimir. Vlad the Impaler was original Dracula. You see 1993 movie with Gary Oldman? Okay? This is true story of Russian hacking the election, sucking the blood from your election, because they are vampire people. Okay? They're not real vampire, or they're not real people. They're a real vampire. Okay? Vladimir Putin, 600 years old. He changed his last name from Impaler to Putin for deceptive purposes. Okay? So this is how they hack the election. They hack your bloodstream, and they suck it straight out of you. You gonna let this happen, or are you going to support the wonderful Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi? It's up to you. Okay? Vlad the Putin. Yes, you find me. This is how I really talk. This is the real me. Is Federal Outrage Commune Chancellor is I'm actually Vladimir Putin. I have a vampire cape in my closet, and I soon will come out fully as a Russian vampire, and it is me. I hack election. I support Donald Trump. Me and Trump are working to build up the wall, and vampires will reign supreme. There is nothing you can do to stop us now. It is too late. We have infiltrated completely. We have the presidency. It is over. Oh shit. Adam Schiff for brains is he needs me to slow down. My next comedy special. Well, let's I'm gonna be ambitious. Let's say this year. It's coming. It probably won't be on Netflix. Unless if you see me on Netflix, I've totally sold out, and I'm probably participating in child sacrifices here in Hollywood, and you can safely distance yourself from me. But you know, for right now, I'm taking the Owen Benjamin route. I'm just doing this stream, and then getting on stage every night, and we're gonna build up the audience organically, and we're gonna get it moving that way outside of the mainstream, ladies and gentlemen. We got side streams. Side streams. We ain't no mainstream, baby. We don't need no mainstream bullshit. Because we got, we got the truth on our side, and that's all that goddamn matters. But there's definitely a market for telling the truth in comedy. It's just, I'm training with a weight vest on out here in Hollywood. So, as soon as I get to go out on the road, out to the Midwest, to, some of these real pockets of Americana out there, it's going to be interesting. I'm putting it all together. Yes, it's grand wizardry puzzle. Okay, you need very high IQ individual like Donald Trump to put this together. Maxine Waters, unfortunately, she's very low IQ individual, so probably not going to get it. But it's how it goes. Is what it is. Oh! Happy Tuesday out there to everybody, man. Merry goddamn Christmas. It's going to be a good Christmas. I'm going home. And going to have lots of beers. I'm probably going to do a live stream with the family. That's going to be fucking crazy. My mom, my whole family is super pro-Trump, so it's going to be fun. We're just going to talk shit about the social justice warriors. So yeah, that's going to be fun. So we're going to be probably having beers with the family stream live from Ponca City, Oklahoma. Ooh, wait. Yeah, we saw the Pelosi and Schumer smackdown earlier. And it was just goddamn hilarious. Oh, go ahead, Dirtweed. He got the material he can share. He's doing stand-up at AA meetings. You know. Push it to the limit. Ooh, ooh, ah. Past the point of no return. Trump should have a Beanie Baby on a keychain, you know? Welcome everybody to the Federal Outrage Cast live stream. We're doing it big here, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying to get this damn wall built out here. Oh, dude, I can't wait for the Trump wall to get built because it's gonna be. What's up, Cubby Bear? Welcome to the stream. Mullet Man says, I've been to the future and Kentucky ends up defeating the NWO alone. America is rebuilt. Kentucky's going to do it? Is that the case? East Coast, West Coast Comedy Connection, baby. We got no beef. I'm actually interested in doing some shows on the East Coast. I don't know if they're going to be more leftist or not. Like, I hear people say New York is pretty crazy right now. That comedy is less PC in LA than New York now. I don't know though. The East Coast comics that I know are like more. They're less PC than the West Coast comics I've seen because like it's It's kind of like that ball busting thing that New York people do. Um, oh yeah, I live right next to where they do the Oscars. Proxnoid says I should do a stunt for the Oscars to get get some publicity. Yeah, I could go do some interviews, some street interviews. I need a press pass here. I could be the Russian man investigating Hollywood. Hollywood wants to investigate Russia, but Russia has come to Hollywood. We have going to figure out why you so bigoted against the gay peoples, and why you take, or we could be pro Kevin Hart. Why you take this little dark skinned man away from your show? He's just making fun of the gays, and this is what we do in Russia. We got no time for the gays. We got to build. We got to get kindling for fire. We got to drink vodka. There's no time. There's no time for the butt stuff. We have no time for this. I live 600 years. I'm secret vampire, and I still have no time. No, Barry White, I did not see that. Did you see the Jews in Israel flipping out about being drafted on RT recently? I'd be flipping out if I was getting drafted. You know? I'm glad I missed that point in history where the government just just recruited you to go and commit murder for your country. Like, glad I missed that time. I would have been, draft dodgers get made fun of, but fuck all of that. State endorsed murder. No, thank you. No, thank you. But that's the big problem with Donald Trump, was he's not starting any new wars. It's a big problem, okay? And we needed to be at war with Russia by now because, they bad. Russia bad. We needed a no-fly zone over Syria, and we needed to shoot down some Russian aircraft, okay? Because their accent is scary. The Russian accent scares us, and we must act in self-defense from this accent. And Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer know this, okay? We need open borders and war with Russia. That's how we fix America. Yeah, I think the grand total of like the supposed devious advertising that they did on Facebook was like $5,000. Like $5,000 worth of advertising was the big swaying election interference of Russia. All it is a cover story for the actual story, which was Seth Rich, who worked at the DNC and was a Bernie supporter, and he saw the inside emails where they were trashing Bernie and trying to leverage Hillary over him, and he got pissed off and leaked it to WikiLeaks. And then, whoops, he got shot in the street. Oh, what a terrible tragedy. It was a botched robbery. They didn't steal any of his valuables, but it was a botched robbery, and Hillary Clinton had nothing to do with it. And don't ask any questions, okay? But that was the big cover story, is, it was white supremacists' fault and Russia's fault that Hillary lost. It wasn't that she was just couldn't stand on her own 2 feet at the 9/11 memorial and literally just passed the fuck out in 70-degree weather, and they said it was too hot, even though it was a cold day in New York, like a cool, like regular 60, 70-degree day in New York. She passed out from heat exhaustion and couldn't get through any of her speeches without hacking up throat lozenges and devolving down into hideous Wicked Witch of the West coughing fits. Yeah, Russia hacked the Oscars and made them unwatchable. It seems like, some kind of hateful alien being has hacked the brains of these people who can't stop trashing Donald Trump because, apparently he's the worst thing to ever happen to the country. And we can't get through one Oscars acceptance speech without virtue signaling for how much we hate Donald Trump. Russia hacked our ratings. Oh, dude. Yeah, nobody's going to want to do that job. They're going to have they're going to have some comedian tuck his balls between his legs and go up there and do the pre-scripted hating Donald Trump material that we have planned. The brilliant, scintillating social criticism. But yeah, that was hilarious watching the Google CEO talk to Congress, and then like behind him there was this guy who was dressed up like the literal Monopoly man with the bowler hat, and he had a big fake white mustache on, and it kept getting bigger as the camera cuts happened. And dude, it was so hilarious. That's the argument of like, oh, Google's a private company, they can ban whoever they want. And it's like, nah, they're really like kind of a public internet utility at this point. They're so goddamn big and they get government subsidies. And they're basically the skeleton for sharing video-based information on the internet. And so if you get banned from YouTube, you're essentially just deplatformed off the internet because nobody's BitChute is so small. It's like it's hard to share the videos. You can't really go live on it. As far as I know, I don't know, but I think we gotta stick with these platforms and take them back. Take them back and put pressure on them in the public commons, in the mainstream flow of ideas. Barry White's going off about Obama being born in Indonesia. Are you a birther? Archer says the difference between Trump and Obama. When Obama bombs innocent brown people, the media praises him. When Trump bombs an airbase that attacks civilians, the media paints him as a villain. Yeah. And Trump was open about the military strike in Syria, and they just took out. They had coordination. They made sure no civilians were in the area, and they just took out the weapons that supposedly, what's his name, the leader of Syria. I'll think of his name here in a second. But Assad, yeah, Assad. That, I feel like Trump got baited into that by the military-industrial complex, this whole idea of, oh, he's gassing his own civilians. And it's like, we don't need to play a role in policing the world based on half-ass intelligence that the CIA and military-industrial complex give Donald Trump. Like, he has done a pretty good job of, he was at least open about doing it and why he was doing it. The drone program was supposed to be a secret, and it leaked out, and kind of like, and multiple things like that happened under Obama. Like, there was the drone program where all these civilians were dying, and there were supposed to be surgical strikes, and it's like he assassinated that Anwar al-Awlaki guy who's an American citizen. He had ties to terrorism, but still just murdered him with a drone strike. And they're taking out all these civilians along with the drone strikes and everything. And it also was supposed to be a big secret that the NSA was spying on everybody, and then it came out, and Obama blamed Edward Snowden. So the whistleblower, when he was supposed to be protecting whistleblowers, he was standing up for whistleblowers as one of the things he said in his campaign, and as soon as an actual whistleblowing event happens and they actually expose some real government nefarious bullshit, the NSA spying on everyone continuously and collecting databases on you that they can use for blackmail anytime they want. That came out, and Edward Snowden's fault. Just like, the left really does not like whistleblowers. They like to have their nice, cozy public position and private position. They don't want you to know what they're up to. Just like when the WikiLeaks came out, all the DNC emails, oh, Julian Assange, this evil man, he's doing the job of providing transparency to the public that the government promises to do themselves, but obviously they're not because power corrupts. The idea that the government is just going to be transparent and, any documents that they release, the internal documents, are always so heavily redacted and everything. It's like they're not transparent at all. They don't have to be because they steal your tax money, baby. They get that tax money either way, so it don't matter. But when the WikiLeaks came out, they didn't contend with any of the facts that were in the WikiLeaks. That CNN had given the debate questions to Hillary, that Hillary was taking all this money through her Clinton Foundation and providing favors on the back end politically, that they were conspiring against Bernie to have Hillary win the primaries, and Hillary's given all these private speeches to bankers about having open borders and all this shit that came out in the WikiLeaks. They didn't dispute any of that, but they just, blamed Russia and blamed Julian Assange. It's their fault for giving you the truth. Yeah, Gavin just got banned from YouTube and fired from Blaze TV because, he's alt-right. Politically, he's a small government libertarian, but we can just say alt-right and Proud Boy, even though the Proud Boys was kind of a joke organization that just took up, combating Antifa in the streets. They are now synonymous with Nazis, and that'll get you shut down real quick now, won't it? If we can connect you with Nazis, even though Nazis don't fundamentally exist, because Nazis were a political party in the 1930s and 40s in Germany, Nazis are still a big problem according to the left, and Donald Trump supports them, and it's not a conspiracy theory, it's just reality. Archer says, the true question, how far do you think the left can push us before we take up arms? I mean, I'm being serious. Do you think it will become violent? No, because they are so ideologically bankrupt. They have no ideas for how to, fix the country. Their only ideas are, let's create another wing of government to deal with a problem. And people have seen for so long that government solutions don't work. And the free market actually does work, and so all that has to happen is some time has to pass, and their narrative will collapse in on itself. And you see with the Kevin Hart thing, and then like the everybody bringing out old tweets of everybody, they just attack themselves because identity politics cannot sustain itself. So they're going down this identity politics and communist ideological path, and they're openly censoring people, and it's just blatant. And the only thing and that's why immigration is so big, because they can't convince the American people of their agenda anymore, because they have no fundamental agenda except we hate Donald Trump and we want to censor anybody who supports him. So they have no fundamental agenda. They can't convince the American people to vote for them. They have no candidate to run against Trump. The only thing that's working in their favor is they're trying to bring in enough illegal immigrants and get them signed up on welfare and bus them around to voting stations to get them to vote illegally. That's their only ace in the hole. And Trump, I think, is going to be able to, he's got the mandate from the public. The public wants border control in general. And I think he's going to be able to get it pushed through and get a wall built and control the amount of illegal immigration coming into the country. That's their only ace in the hole, is if they can import enough third world immigrants who are coming from big corrupt governments and sign them up on welfare and get them to vote for the big corrupt American side of government. If they could do that, that would be how they beat the Trump agenda. But I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. Because if the American people can just be smart enough to reject open borders and reject communism, it's not that hard of an argument. You know, it's not that hard to see the deception going on. The only people buying into it are these insulated young kids in universities who have these communist professors who convince them that, you know, it's the compassionate way to live, and you know, capitalism is tyrannical and it oppresses people, and there's all this systemic racism and they can't be trusted and we need government regulation. And Archer says they don't need to convince anyone when they can just shut down and ban anyone who opposes them. Yeah, well, there's always going to be, like, you can't silence the truth. You can't silence an idea. Like, for every Alex Jones that goes down, there's going to be 10 other people that were inspired by Alex Jones who start their own stream and get close to how big he was. So that's what I'm doing here at the Federal Outrage Commune, baby. We're getting this commune popping. And, you know, they can only censor so many people. And, you know, it's, you can't censor the truth. The truth is going to come through as long as the internet stays relatively open and free. And they, you know, the public wouldn't accept the open censorship. You know, they're having to do it with this justification of hate speech. You know, but even breaking through into the mainstream, you see guys like Jordan Peterson who are speaking out against the censorship and stuff, and Joe Rogan, to a certain extent, he's kind of come around to the ideas a little bit. So you have big people that are rational enough, and then you have people on the come up that really know the truth and are talking about it openly without apology. And I think the cream is going to rise to the top, you know, unless we get some Chinese-style censorship, which would just be delightful, wouldn't it? If we could just set up a communist dictatorship just like China and just model it after our slanty-eyed friends. It would just be wonderful. But not their wall. We can't copy their wall. That's racist. All right? Communist government, good. Wall, bad. So we got to pick and choose what we take from China for our own society. Okay? You argued with Jordan once at a party before he became a professor. Interesting. Yeah, Jordan Peterson has been good for deconstructing the leftist narratives, but fundamentally, I think he's I don't know. I don't know about his fundamental principles and how he sees the world. Like, I much prefer Stefan Molyneux because he has rock solid first principles that he operates from as a libertarian. But Jordan Peterson is kind of this amorphous, used to be leftist who now like recognizes the dangers of communism and tyranny, and he just speaks out against the obvious idiocy of the extreme left, which is good. He's out there pointing it out in the mainstream. But I bet Dirtweed said he was drunk back in the 90s when he was arguing with Jordan Peterson. I bet Jordan Peterson was drunk too. Apparently he used to be a pretty heavy drinker. Oh yeah, illegal immigration definitely hurts black people. the most. Like it just generally, all lower end of the income spectrum get hurt the most. And then you combine that with with minimum wage laws. It's like there's no options. Like, number one, you have to provide at least $15 an hour to your employer to even be considered for a position, if that's the minimum wage. And so they're going to hire less people, and they have to be able to provide that $15 back to their employer per hour. And so that cuts out the lower end of the workforce. And then you have illegal immigrants coming in working under the table for cash, and so those positions are occupied. So you can't get the construction job on the sly where you're getting paid under the table cash, because the illegal immigrants are coming in and taking those jobs. So you just left to scrabble around on the street. So at least out here in LA, you got some sunshine while you're scrabbling. All right, you beautiful motherfuckers out there. I think I'm gonna wind it down for today. We did like going on an hour 20. So yeah, baby, like it if you like it. Hit that like button. I really appreciate it all. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the stream. I'll be sharing out clips on Nick Jordan himself at Instagram, at I am Nick Jordan on Twitter, Nick Jordan on Facebook. You see me with the microphone in the blue shirt with I'm gonna have fluffy long hair up here, and then yeah, this is this full audio of this stream is on iTunes and all the podcast apps. You can find it at Outrage Cast, all one word. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're lighting up the social controllers out here. We're taking on the globalists one day at a time, one stream at a time. I'll be up on stage at the Fourth Wall Comedy Club in North Hollywood tonight, rocking it out, rocking the mic for freedom. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate the super chats. You guys are tremendous. The Bitcoin address is below if you want to do that route. But yeah, I'm not going to take any advertising on this stream, and so we're going to keep it. We're going to keep this federal outrage commune privatized, and we're going to keep it listener supported. So you motherfuckers are just tremendous. Big kiss out to you. Lots of holiday love, Merry Christmas, and all of that. Have a beer on me, and be thinking of freedom when you sip it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you tomorrow, live in full force with some red-blooded American patriotism coming at you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, signing off for the Outrage Cast. This is Nick Jordan. I'll see you beautiful bastards tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in, Cubby Bear. I'll see you. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen.